All right, so this is a sweet thing. So I hope it kind of tenderizes your heart the way it did mine. All right, so this is from the Book of Awakening, Mark Nepo. Two monkeys sleeping. Tenderness does not choose its own uses. It goes out to everything equally. And that's a quote by Jane Hirschfield. We wandered into a corner of the Central Park Zoo, and there, despite the dozens of tourists pointing and tapping the glass, two monkeys were squatting on a perch of stone. To our surprise, they were both in deep sleep, their dark heads bowed to each other, their small frames limp. What was amazing was that their small, delicate hands were touching. Their monkey fingers leaned into each other. It was clear that it was this small, sustained touch that allowed them to sleep. As long as they were touching, they could let go. As long as they were touching, they could let go. I envied their trust and their simplicity. There was nothing of the human pretense at independence. They clearly needed each other to experience peace. One stirred but didn't wake, and the other, in sleep, kept their fingers touching. How deeply rewarding the life of touch. Each was drifting inwardly, dreaming whatever monkeys dream in their own mind. They looked like ancient travelers praying inside a place of rest, made possible because they dared to stay connected. It was one of the most tender and humbling moments I have ever seen. Two aging monkeys weaving fingertips as if their touch alone kept them from oblivion. I pray for the courage to be as simple in asking for what I need to be, for what I need to be connected. So take a moment to close your eyes and sense into your own internal space. And even though you don't have, a monkey to touch right now, maybe you do, maybe you've got, a pet or a person in the room with you. But whatever you're feeling right now, see if you can ground yourself and create those connections for yourself, even with the earth itself. So as you drop your awareness and your sense of ground, notice the connection that you can have with the earth itself just by the sensing of the ground below you, the feeling of grounding in your own body. I often think of the movie Avatar, where they connect their tails or whatever into the roots of the trees. So imagine that you had, just in your own experience of sensing your energy, of sensing your breath, that you could know that this is a truth, that we are interconnected. And just as when you lean into a person, an animal, or a tribe of people that you feel deeply resonant with, sense the surrender, the trust, and the letting go that you experience when you're in this company. And then see if you can muster up the courage and the trust to lend that connection outward to those that you do not feel a harmonic with. What would happen if you were just next to a total stranger who believed completely opposite from you in almost every walk of life that you could think of? And would you still be able to connect into the humanity? So imagine someone right now that you don't feel connected with, somebody you know personally or somebody you know just through word of mouth or media or whatever, someone you know of that you do not connect. I'm sure everyone's had the experience of even just meeting up with a stranger that you suddenly have like a rub against. What would happen if you sat on a stone, just like these two monkeys, with this person, and bowed your head and touched your fingers and trusted this person to help you rest, to feel safe, to feel connected? Can you dig below all the things that you know or think you know about this person that might make you feel unsafe to a deeper root of some common humanity? You might have to dig deep. It might be like very, very, very deep down there. And just see what you can find. And know that you are safe. This is just an imagining in the mind to train our minds to be open for trust and connection. So remind yourself that this is just an exercise in trust. Lean in and visualize what it might feel like. What would it take in your own mind, your own heart, to be able to sweep enough in front of your own doorstep to welcome the world in? Feel ready? Bring your palms together. Let's have gratitude for the people in our lives that do make us feel connected and safe, tangibly so. This could be your dog or your cat or your partner or your child or your friend or anybody else. Send intention to try to bring yourself into that open place of trust and connection as much as you can. Practice on the small things. Release your hands. And let's find our way onto our mat. Okay, so as you stretch out, let's be so thankful for a bit of time in our day to care for our mind and for our body. All right, so as you stretch out and lengthen on the mat, feel the reaching of your arms overhead, and maybe have a nice little expansion in your body, the right side, the left side. Just allow a little waking up what feels good here in your body. And bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And circle the knees, kind of rolling a little bit. Stay high to your back, high to your sacrum, your hips. Circle the other way. Remember in this warm up, if there's anything that doesn't suit you, always make changes. Suit yourself. Let's open up your knees away from the middle, bring them back in toward the middle, and just enjoy. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's wiggle the toes here. See if you can feel that sense of movement. Give a good squeeze into your knee. And then let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and give a good squeeze. And remember always, you don't have to have your leg long on the ground. You can have your knee bent and your foot on the ground so your pelvis is in a more neutral place.
And then release that knee, stretch out to a star, feeling that sense of open space in your body. Exhale and draw your knees into your chest and pick up your head and hug it. One more time, expanding outward with your limbs, reaching into your fingers and your toes. Exhale, drawing into your chest. Rest your head down. Let's cross our right thigh over our left thigh and draw your knees towards your chest. What can you do to melt your head and shoulders a little bit more? Notice if there was any tension there, if you noticed a palpable change when you reminded yourself to let go. Try to be aware of the ways in which your body tenses or tries to recruit muscles that aren't needed at any given moment. And let's bring our legs straight up in the air and stretch your arms overhead. If you're comfortable, you can always have your arms down at your sides. Flex and point your feet here so you have a little bit of mobility in your ankles, and just feel into your core, stabilizing your torso down toward the ground. And then put your feet on the ground, left thigh over right thigh, knees draw in toward your chest. Just opening up the hips here a little bit. Heavy head again. Let your shoulders relax. Find a deep breath. One more time. Reach those legs straight up in the air. This time, bring your arms straight up in the air as well, so everything's pointing toward the sky. And we'll open our legs out wide for a moment. Just a couple of rounds of a little bit of core engagement. Draw your arms through your legs, and then release your head back down. Move with your breath. I like to exhale as I draw my hands through my legs, and inhale on the way back. See if that feels nice to your body. And then draw your knees back in toward your chest. Put your feet on the ground, arms straight out to the sides. Windshield wiper your knees here just a little bit. Opening up the hips. We'll come into a little bit deeper of a twist in a moment. But first, just find that wobble from left to right. And let's roll all the way over to our right side. Palms together, feet together. Inhale, open up your chest, spread your wings, find that twist, and just hang out here. If you want to open and close the book, you can, or you can just experience the open chest. Breathe into your pecs. Feel that rotation in the spine. Let your head feel heavy. And then close your hands back to each other, and let's roll to the other side. Coming on to your left, palms together. Ankles together. Let's open up. You can let your knees slide apart from each other. You can let your knees stay connected to each other. See what feels best in your body. It'll change how the position of your spine lands. Breathing well. And then come back around onto your back and spread your limbs wide again. Exhale, drawing your knees into your chest, letting your back down. Let's roll to your side and come up to your hands and knees. All right, so as you start to find some cat-cows, enjoy that arching and the rounding of the spine, taking your time to experience just a little bit of joy in your body. Cat-cows can feel quite joyful. So let's see if we can find that. And maybe it isn't joyful to you. Maybe you're like, oh, my back, oh, my hips. So whatever you're finding, just be present. And then wag your tail or move your ribs around. Try to let your spine have whatever kind of movement it needs right now to nourish the ease that wants to come. Right? Remember, you have a neck, you have shoulders, you have hips, all sorts of things connecting to your spine. And then curl the toes under and walk the hands forward like a child's pose with your toes curled under and just opening up the bottom of your feet. Spread your bones. And then release your feet back onto all fours, maybe a little tap tap if your feet didn't like that so much. And then find a twist. Reach the arm all the way up in the sky. Exhale, let's Drop the shoulder down and twist to the side. Make sure your neck is nice and at ease, breathing well. Now bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm up and exhale. Bring that arm down, twisting to the side here. Drop the shoulders, open up across your breathing. Melt the base of the skull, rest your eyes. Inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. Find a dog pose. So as you lift up and stretch here, take some time pedaling your feet. You can drop one heel way down and bend the other knee, switching sides. You can move this slowly or quickly to open up the Achilles and the calves and the soles of the feet. Push off your hands so you feel the fullness of your spine. Feel the grounding again. So make connection. So we're not able in this practice on our mat to interlace our fingers with another, but we certainly can interlace our energy with the earth. So drop, feel the yielding. Give your weight and then use this support to push off and lengthen in your body. How's your breath living in that balance of yield and push? Walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana, fold deeply, shake your shoulders, your hips, your head, whatever feels nice. Inhale for a halfway lift, get your spine to grow. Let's pedal your feet here in a half lift so you can have your hands on your legs or on the floor or some blocks. And then ground again, fold deeply. Inhale, coming all the way up. Reaching the arms to the sky, feeling that extension, open up across your heart. Let's cactus, open your wings, feeling the spreading of the chest. And then exhale and round in, forearms to touch. Reaching the arms up again, a little bit of a back bend here, open the heart. And then a big reach back around. Interlace your hands behind you, open up across the fronts of the shoulders. Find your breath. And then exhale and fold forward. You can let your hands leave your spine wherever they go. Dangle your head. And then inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold. Relax those arms. Step back to a dog pose again. Feeling that extension in the spine. Drop down, yield. And then push off and reach. Come forward into a plank and hold yourself steady here. See if you can feel the shoulder blades on the back. Engage through your core. Let the inner thighs lift toward the sky. Put your knees down on the ground. Find here. Roll the shoulders a couple of times here so you feel that mobility. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, and melt back down. Take your arms wide, out there, palms on the ground, reaching and extending. Stretch your right leg a little bit longer. Stretch your left leg a little bit longer. Stretch both legs a little bit longer. Open up through the front of your body. Coming back down. We'll stay low in your torso. Lift up your chest just a little bit. Stabilize through your core. Reach your arms out in front of you, palms facing the ground. And then walk your elbows back toward your hips and engage your shoulder blades on the back. Reach them out again. And this time, a big wide arc with your hands. Turn your palms up and bring them toward your hips. Inhale, bring them back out in front of you. One more time, so we're up off the ground here. Our hands are not on the ground. Turn your palms up, bring them to your hips, and bring them forward.
And then rest. Put your head on your hands. Have a breath. Yield into the ground. Come on up onto all fours and move your spine around, wagging the tail. And roll around in your shoulders, move your spine, and stretch back towards child's pose. Walking the hands out far in front of you, let your back open up, breathing well. Walk your hands over to one side of the mat or the other and feel that side body stretch. Open through your lats, your ribs. Drop your weight into your pelvis. Walk your hands over to the other side and drop some weight down into that side of your hips. Coming back, come up onto all fours, root down through your hands. Let's push the ground away a little bit. And feel your shoulder blades draw toward each other a little bit. Just back and forth between a little protraction and retraction. Now stabilize your right shoulder blade firm on the back and bring your left arm out in front of you. Keep that right shoulder blade stable and bring your right leg out and behind you. So we're in that bird dog. The shoulder blade is rooting onto the back. Engage your core. Find that reach. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hug underneath. Push the ground away. Elbow and knee come to each other. Inhale, bring it out. Shoulder blade reconnects. Exhale. Drawing it in. Inhale, reaching it out. Place that hand and knee down onto the ground. And let's practice a little bit of yielding. Unlock the elbows. Unlock the hips. Rock your weight into the right side. Feel the earth and then push off the earth and walk your weight into the left side. So just back and forth. Notice what your shoulders are doing. Notice your elbows. Notice your hips as we yield and push off. And let's come to the second side. Left hand rooting, left shoulder blade rooting on the back. So find those roots. So we're nice and stable, stabilizing the shoulder blade, hugging it onto the rib cage. See if you can press the ground away. And then we'll take the right arm out in front of us. Feel that shoulder blade stay stable on the left side of your back. Take your left leg back behind you. Engage your core. Find your breath. Deep inhale. And as you exhale, elbow and knee come underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Keep that shoulder blade grounded. Exhale. Drawing it in. One more time, extending out, and then place that hand, foot down, lift to dog pose. Finding that extension. So even though our shoulder blades want to move in this pose, can you stabilize and ground your shoulders on your ribs? Root into your hands, index finger mounds, finding their way. And then let's walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold again. Grab onto the base of your skull with your hands and enjoy a little bit of an extra stretch. So use the weight of your palms to drop your cranium down, draw it in toward your chest. And then release your hands. A halfway lift. Melt and fold. Push off your feet, coming up, rising to the sky. Arms high, and then exhale, and release back to neutral. Stand in Tadasana for a moment. Notice your body. Where is the weight bearing in your body? Do you like to lean into your left foot or your right, the front of your feet or the backs, the inner feet or the outer feet? Just notice your weight in your feet. See if you can send some roots down. Feel that deep sense of connection, that you're not alone. Even when you're standing here by yourself on the earth, you still have this connection that you can find always. Unlock the belly a bit. Practice your greatest sense of deep, grounded connection with the earth. Notice what your feet feels like. Notice what your knees feel like. Can you unlock? Can you breathe into the pelvis, into the pelvic floor? Can the diaphragm soften a bit? Can you still feel that your shoulder blades, they don't have to squeeze toward the spine, but can you feel that they're firm on the ribs, that you have a sense of stability there that helps you open your heart instead of slumping? Is your crown over your tail? Do you feel a sense of that your head is supported by your pelvis? That your pelvis is supported by your feet? Now in this grounded stance, can you sense in to your own personal responsibility for how you show up in this grounded place on the earth? Can you keep your heart open? Can you keep a sense of compassion and trust? Can you have a sense of open-mindedness and forgiveness? Does your stance give you a sense of clarity and courage? Just try to notice when these things arrive or when they kind of wane. We all have ebbs and flows of our trust and courage. See if you can train yourself to muster some of this up. Inhale, reaching the arms high to the sky. Lean your heart back and up. See if you can expand and open up not just to the ground below you, but to the all the space around you. Let's cactus open the arms one more time and feel that heart stay expansive. And release the hands down. All right, so bounce a little bit. A lot of stillness. Now we're going to feel that sense of grounding from movement. Okay. Full breaths. Maybe on one foot and give yourself a good shake. The other foot, give yourself a good shake. Don't worry if you feel a little bit more content on one foot than the other. We all have these patterns. Maybe you want to wiggle. Maybe you want to make some noise with your breath. Maybe you want to have a good shake in your hands. And then just feel the sense of connection again. Fill your breath. Empty your breath. Inhale, reaching up with your arms. Exhale, floating forward. Halfway lift, growing longer in the spine. Exhale and melt and fold again. Let's step the left foot back, right foot comes into the front, finding a lunge. Find your way into a bend and a straighten in that lunge and see what it feels like to enjoy the sensation of opening your legs up a little bit. Feel free when you straighten your front leg a bit, you can lift your toes if you want, you can tuck your chin, whatever feels good. All right, and then come down onto your knee. Lift up through your heart again. Feel that hip flexor open up a little bit. Let's find a little bit of a twist here. So right hand on your knee, left arm reaches high, and we'll bring the forearm or the hand or the elbow or whatever part of your body feels good to find your way into a twist. Hug to the midline, press into your feet, feel the reaching of your heart. And come back down, come into a lunge. Let's take our hands to the inside edge of that right foot. You can keep your back knee down onto the ground, and you can also lift it up. Ground through the 4 points of contact. Hands can find the ground, feet can find the ground, sit bones can widen, spine can grow.
And then turn sideways on your mat for a nice wide-legged stance. And then we're gonna bend our knees and come into a wide squat. Elbows inside our knees, drop your hips down, ground through the four corners of your feet. Begin to lift your chest a little higher so you're not leaning over. Breathing deeply. Okay. Come back to the front of your mat one more time. Back foot comes forward. Fold deeply. A halfway lift. Lengthen through your spine. Hang out here in this half lift for a moment. Maybe your blocks can come higher. Feel the roots of your femur bones, the openness of the soles of the feet, the lift of the sit bones. And then melt and release again. Let's step our other foot back. Left is in front now. Open up through your chest. Let's come back and forth, bending and straightening the front knee. Filling yourself with so much beautiful breath. When we have our legs grounded in this way, these standing poses that we're enjoying and will continue to enjoy for a moment, to have a deep sense of rooting into the earth, giving ourselves that grounding. When you feel ready, you can always find your way into a lunge. Hang out here for a moment, place your knee down. Feel those hip flexors stretch open. And then we'll come on into the twist on this side. So your left hand can be on your knee, right arm lifting. Try not to sink in your spine, press into your feet, and then take the variation of a twist you took on the other side. Maybe your forearms on your knee, maybe your elbows to your outer knee, maybe your hands here, maybe your hands on a block. So find the pathway for a big open twist. Hug to the midline with your legs. Try not to sink into the pelvis. Press into the front foot. Let the earth give you support. And then come out of the twist. Take your hands to the inside edge of that left foot. You can turn your toe out a little bit if you want to. Ground through your hands. Maybe your back knee stays on the ground. Maybe you lift it up. Whatever you're doing, you're finding lots of contact with the ground. Yield and push off the ground to lengthen. Turn sideways on your mat one more time. Tipping over to the side, wide legs, drop your head down wherever you want it to be. And then we'll come to a squat. So turn your toes out, knees bend, elbows inside your knees, lengthen through your spine. Maybe a little rocking into your left and then into your right. And then we'll come all the way up to standing star. Okay, find your breath, a nice wide space. And then bring your hands to your heart. Keep your legs wide. And if you're facing the wrong way on your mat, turn around the other way, however you like to be. Just have a moment of some nice wide legs, palms together. And give yourself over to your connection one more time with the ground. If change begins within us, right? We're trying to cultivate what we want to see in the world from inside. Be the change you wish to see in the world. This Gandhi quote has so much meaning. So even in this stance right here, what are you noticing? How can you show up in a slightly more compassionate, more trusting, more connected way today in your day? Let's flip the palms open. Okay, open across the collarbones. Turn your palms outward a little bit. So pulling, your elbows stay close to your ribs. And then turn your palms and bring them out to the sides. Open up across the heart. Turn your feet out a little bit, kind of maybe in the same angle as your hands. And let's just drop down to a goddess. Pulse a couple times while you're here. And just as you're pulling your hands wide, see if you can turn your feet wide. So pull your toes back, heels forward. It doesn't matter to be super low. You can be as high as you want. Lift the heart.
And then reach the arms out wide, palms staying up. And then reach and extend, standing star. Turn your right foot out. Let's find Virabhadrasana, warrior two. Stretch your arms. Now flip your palms up toward the sky. Drop your shoulders. Feel that connection of your shoulder blades on the ribs. Integrate your ribs into your body. Then turn just your palms over and see if you can stretch from your heart to your hands. As your fingers reach outward in space, find the way that they connect outward. And then find the way your feet connect downward, this grounding and this expansive outward. Finding breath. Let's reverse the warrior, open up through your rib cage, and find Parsva Konasana. Enjoy that stretch of the arm overhead. Round into your feet well. Feel that hip open up. Stay rooted. Feel the earth. Drop your weight down, yield, and then push off. Coming back up. Let's find the other sides. Turn your left foot out. Reach the arms out. Come into Virabhadrasana. Flip your palms up toward the sky. Drop your shoulders. Hug them onto the ribs. Integrate your floating ribs, the front ribs, into the body. So there's this stability in the torso. Stretch from your heart to your fingers. And then turn just your palms over. Reach into your fingers. Throughout all five of them, expand outward. Drop into the weight of your feet. Can you find both the expansion and the grounding simultaneously? Listen to the sound of your breath. Feel into your breath. When you feel ready, let's reverse the warrior and open our ribs up. And then find your way into Parsva Konasana. Elbow on your knee or hand on the block. Drop your ribs away from, or drop your shoulders away from your ears, so you have the sense that you're not hunched up. Breathing well. As you exhale, give weight into your feet again. Can you feel both expansive and grounding? Coming all the way back up. Turn your feet straight one more time. Hasrita, hands down, rest your head, wide legs. And then heel toe your feet. Your hands can be on blocks if you want. Heel toe your feet in. Turn back to the front of your mat for Uttanasana. Holding deeply. Expand outward. Find dog pose. Bring your hands onto the ground and extend. Drop your heels, lift your sit bones, spread your hands, spread your feet. Feel that grounding, and then push off to reach in your body. Find your breath. Let's come forward into a plank. Hold that sense of stability. Find the shoulder blades again. Drop them down, hug them to the ribs. Breathing deeply, feeling that core strength. And bring your knees down to the ground, finding the earth. Both shoulder rolls here one more time. Let's come back to that first back bendy position we did, arms out in front of us. Lift your palms up off the ground, chest is a little lifted, stabilize through your core. Bring your arms in a wide arc, flip your palms up, bring them to your hips. Maybe they go to the small of your back. Just see what's available. Open up big and wide again. Back forward. One more time. Big arc. Hands, back of hands to the pelvis. One more time, reaching the mat in front of you. And then put your hands underneath your head. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees left and right. Come up, find your way onto all fours. Wag your tail. Take your right hand, drop it down, root. Shoulder blade grounded on the back. When you find the stability as you place your left hand on the back of your head, right at the base of your skull, see what it feels like to root your right shoulder blade in your hand. Can you yield? And then open up to a twist here, lifting your elbow to the sky. Exhale, touch your elbow toward your forearm. Inhale, reaching it back up. Exhale, touch your elbow to your forearm. And then come back to neutrals. Take that left hand down onto the ground. Root the shoulder blade, right hand on the head. Inhale, reaching up to a twist. Exhale, right elbow toward your left forearm. Round your your left shoulder blade on the back, open up. Exhale, bring that elbow back in. Place the hand down onto the ground, curl your toes under, and reach to a dog pose. Finding the breath. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold. All right, step your left foot back. Right foot's in front. Coming into a deeper twist now than we did earlier. So you can choose to put your hand on the block and reach your arm to the air. You can keep your hand on your head like we just did. You can come a little deeper and put your elbow on your knee and twist here. So just find how you want to be in space right now. There's no rules that depth is what you're looking for. What you should be looking for is stability and your breath. So whatever offers you that, find your way into this twist. Reach into the length and lift of your back leg. Exhale and come back down. Back foot comes forward, fold deeply. A halfway lift. Relax again. Step your right foot back, come to a lunge on this side. Open up through your heart. Find the twist that's right for you. Maybe it's an open twist with your arm in the air. Maybe your hand is on your head. Maybe your right hand or forearm or elbow are on your leg. Maybe your knee is down on the ground. There's so many variations to take. Try to have some symmetry, if you can, between your left and right sides. Lift that femur bone, hug to the midline. And then relax and come back. And we'll find child's pose for a moment. Take your hips into a deep bend. You can have your knees close or far, whatever feels really good to your body. Finding breath. And we're going to take a blanket, if you want to, underneath your heels. We're going to come into a very deep squat. Okay, so everybody is a little different in their squatting. Some people need a little blanket under their heels like this. Some people need a block under their pelvis to sit upon. Sometimes this pose is very difficult and you need to, really be up higher, but get into as deep of a squat with support or not as you can go. So as much hip flexion, ankle flexion, and knee flexion as your body can manage in a safe, comfortable way. Finding breath, we'll take a twist open here. So left arm on the inside of your knee, bring that hand to the ground, right arm to the sky. Modify anything that you need. And then change sides. Right arm on the inside, left arm to the sky. Back down. Feel how close you are to the earth. Now, maybe you aren't very close to the earth, and that's okay. Just as close as you can get. Feel the earth. We're gonna come out of there, knees onto the ground. Child's pose, either with your knees close, your knees far, arms overhead, arms back, whatever feels good. And again, feel how close you are to the earth. So even though we can't have our little monkey fingers interlaced right now with another little monkey, we can feel the earth. Now, next, we're going to either do pigeon pose or reverse pigeon pose or any hip stretch that you'd like to do. Maybe you'd like to do fire log. So kind of find what feels right for your body to open up your hip. We're gonna do the right one first. So if you're in pigeon pose, our right leg is gonna be in front, our left leg straight behind us. If you're reversed, you're on the ground with right foot on left knee. Maybe you're in fire log, right leg on top of left, or any other. You could be doing eagle legs, whatever feels good. Okay, so open up the spine, square the pelvis, wide sit bones. Make sure your ankle, knee, hip, SI joint, low back, everything's in a happy place. Your joints are not talking loudly to you. Maybe your muscles have something to say. Let's see if you can get your joints to not have sirens. Modify anything that needs to be modified. Feel the length of your spine and see what you can do to surrender into the depth of this stretch. When you feel ready to come out of that pose, we'll switch to the second side. If you're in fire log, you just flip your legs. Reverse pigeon, put the other foot on top. Pigeon pose, left leg's in front, right leg behind. Find your way. Any support you need, check in with your joints. Make sure that your pelvis stays square. Lengthen through your spine and allow your body to relax. Sometimes if you are in pigeon pose and you have your forehead resting on the block, that can be kind of, the same idea of giving some feedback to your nervous system that you know where you are in space and you're safe. I think part of that monkey fingertip thing is just that, just knowing a safety measure. So for those monkeys, the safety was within the connection with each other. But sometimes the safety can be just knowing where you are in space, having a good proprioceptive sense, and trusting that. Otters also sleep connected. They intertwine their hands or arms and form a connection with each other while they're floating. They often connect themselves to a reed or a piece of seaweed, so they keep themselves in place. So a lot of our safety and sense of trust comes from knowing who we are, where we are. Come out of the pose whenever you're ready to come out of the pose. You can stay as long as you want. And when we come out of it, let's come onto our back. And now, for a moment before we twist, let's put our feet on the ground, put our head on the ground, the backs of our arms on the ground, our hands on the ground, and just feel where you are. And again,
Make that connection to the ground. Feel that you are deeply, deeply interconnected with the earth itself. Feel the whole back body. And you feel where you are in space. And you map yourself in connection to the earth for your whole body. All right, let's scoot the hips over to the right and pick up the knees and drop them left and find your way into a nice twist, opening up, finding your breath. Coming back to center, switching sides when you feel ready. Ready, find Shavasana. Now imagine, first just get comfortable. Let your body have any support that it needs. You need some support under your knees or head or whatever you've got. Find a place where your body can melt and deeply relax on the ground. Once you've adjusted and done what you need to do to find that, see if you can imagine that, even though we're not intertwining our fingers, we are deeply connected to each other. So first, just feel your connection to the ground. In the heart space and in the mind space, feel that connection you have with everyone else. well. Yield one more time. Movement that you need to nourish yourself.
To a comfortable seat as you're ready. So your yoga homework is whoever you meet today that might be a stranger or someone you know but not well. Can you just open yourself to seeing this person in their truth instead of our preconceived notions? And then can we also, the other bit of homework is to just become aware of our preconceptions, become aware of our judgments, the way we put things in boxes, the way we might need to root a couple of weeds in our own mind, unroot a couple of weeds in our own mind. Be kind to yourself, be sensitive to yourself as you start to look inward at our own biases. Almost together, let's send our energy and love outward. If you can just, join your little monkey fingers with everybody else's. Feel that common humanity. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.